Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, welcome to Bhakti Steps. We'll continue with Bhagavad Gita reading. Before that, we will chant the prayers which are on my screen. You can repeat with me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantiman Vandeham Shri Guruho Shukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु भैरव च पतितानां भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So then welcome to Bhakti Steps. Today we will start with 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We finished 14th chapter. In the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that there are three modes of material nature that are binding us. Okay, when we do bhakti yoga and we keep our activities in sattva, in mode of goodness, then we can transcend the three modes and come to the level of Brahman. Now, to do devotional service, we have to be detached also. Okay, if our mind is too much disturbed and attracted to everything else in this world, then practicing devotional service will become difficult. So, Krishna takes this topic in the next chapter, Purushottam Yoga. Purushottam Yoga. It's a very interesting chapter, small chapter, but very, very powerful chapter. So, the question here is now how to develop detachment. So, Krishna is going to explain how to develop this detachment. We'll take some overview and then we will jump into the shlokas. So, Krishna gives an analogy here, and he says there is an inverted tree which grows upside down. Okay, roots are going upwards, branches are going down. Can you tell me where is such a tree that where you see that the roots are going upwards and the branches are going down?
Beside pond? Oh,
Yeah, in a reflection of the pond. Here we see that the tree's reflection in the pond feels like, okay, the tree is going downwards. Instead of going upwards, it's growing downwards. The roots are going up, the leaves, the branches, everything is going down. Okay. So, such is the tree of the Vedas. And as we go near to the root, then we can reach the real tree. Okay, we can reach the real tree. If this is a mango tree and we see the mangoes in the reflection in the water, and someone thinks, oh, the mango is inside the pond, and he jumps inside, will he get the mango? He won't get the mango because it is reflection. But if he goes to the root, and then he can see the real tree, and he can taste the real fruits. Okay. This is another picture. This is a tree that is growing downwards, and at the root is Brahmaloka. And this is the tree of the Vedas. It gives us various kinds of activities and all that, so that the soul can enjoy in this world. The more he wants to enjoy, he will go down. Sense gratification, he will go down. The more he controls his sense gratification, he goes up. And when he reaches the root, then he can achieve liberation also and come to the real tree. This is another way to look at. This is the reflection, right? This is the actual tree and this is the reflection. In the reflection, we see that we are having a lot of relationships. All kinds of relationships are friendly, vatsalya, master, servant, parental, conjugal. All these relationships are there. But what is the nature of these relationships? It is sometimes happy, sometimes sad. It is sometimes disgusting, sometimes disappointment. Sometimes the happiness is not that much. How much I expected, that much is not there. Right? So these are our duality experiences in the material world. All these relationships, they are there in the Vaikuntha planets also. That is in the real tree. And there is no duality. Meaning there are no two things. Everything is one. Meaning sadness and happiness is also happiness. I explain it this way. In mathematics, there is a concept called as absolute. Okay. In mathematics, there is a concept called as absolute. Plus 1 is equal to plus 1, right? Minus 1 is minus 1. Okay. But when we do absolute of plus 1 is 1. And absolute of minus 1 is, what is absolute of minus 1? We have learned this in our school. It is
Plus 1 minus 1.
no, plus 1.
Oh, sorry. Plus 1, sorry.
Yeah. So this is dual nature. It can be plus, it can be negative. So this is duality. But here you see that duality when we do absolute? No. We'll always get the same answer, whether it is positive or negative. Same way in the spiritual world, happiness and distress will lead to happiness only. If I say plus 1.
Sorry, Prabhu, can you explain again? Happiness and distress will lead to happiness only means?
Yeah. Just like, if I say plus 1 is happiness and minus 1 is sadness. In this particular world, happiness is happiness and sadness is sadness. It's a different feeling. Right? Happiness enlivens us, enlivens us. Okay? Gives us hope. Right? But sadness, it disheartens us. It takes us down. Right? It is painful. Isn't it? So this is the dual nature. But in the spiritual world, if someone is happy with Krishna, then his spiritual happiness increases. And when someone is sad for Krishna because Krishna went away, then also his spiritual happiness increases. When Krishna goes out in the forest, he leaves Yashoda, Nandamara, the gopis, the gopas. He leaves them and he goes with the cows. So they all become very sad. that now Krishna is not with us, he has gone, he'll only come in the evening. Okay? But that sadness is not on the material level, it is on the spiritual level. And the sadness is connected with Krishna. And Krishna is all reservoir of all pleasure. So externally it may be sadness, but internally it will be happy. Internally the emotions and all that will make the person happy. That's what I'm trying to say. But in this world it is not like that. Somebody leaves, then we are very, very sad, right? We cannot tolerate. But in the spiritual world, that separation with Krishna produces sadness. But actually that sadness is on the spiritual level, so it's actually happiness only. Any questions? Any question?
No problem.
One may think how it is possible and all this, right? So at this point, theoretically accept this way. Bhakti Yoga, when we reach at a higher level, that time spiritual sadness will also keep us happy. See, there is sadness, okay? Material and spiritual. Okay. Okay. Sadness. Okay. What is the quality of sadness in material world? What is the quality of sadness in material world? It is hopeless, right? Yes or no? So hopeless kind of situation. Have you been ever sad in your life?
Yes, Prabhuji, we have.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So how did we feel? I'm trying to ask you this question. Give me many, many words of how does you feel? How do you feel when it is sad? When you're sad? Just start giving me words.
Overwhelmed,
Overwhelmed. Okay.
helpless,
Helpless. Like good.
stressed,
Okay. Stressed.
crying.
Crying. Yeah. Crying.
I'll stop here. Let others also say.
Okay. Okay. What is the result of this sadness? What is the result? I mean, these are one of the result. Like you may feel hopeless and all that, but it's actually a very uh, downward kind of feeling, right? It's a downward feeling. It's a downward feeling. If person becomes too much sad, what happens?
There's a certain loss of faith in whatever is happening around us.
Loss of faith. And in worst case, what happens? Suicide. Right? In this world, it is like this, isn't it? Too much of sadness and all that, people really become hopeless. And in the spiritual world, if there is some hopeless, if there is some hopelessness, there is still a hope. The devotee will still feel a hope. If there is some overwhelming feeling, then if there is some overwhelming feeling, um, I'll give you like this: Krishna's remembrance. Oh. Krishna's remembrance make a person happy. Hmm? The thing is, whatever it may be, hopelessness, stressed out, crying, feeling, that is also there in spiritual world. But there, Krishna's remembrance make the devotee happy. Here, if it is for a person, for a thing or something, then the remembrance makes a person unhappy, more unhappy, right? What we tell a person who's sad, we'll say go for a walk, right? Go someplace, talk with your other friends, isn't it? Haven't you heard these things? Go change your mind, change your setting, do something else, focus on some other habits. Yes or no? Isn't this what the therapy is all
Yes,
about?
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Now, for spiritual thing, these things are not told. For spiritual thing, if the hopelessness is for Krishna, they 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 are not recommended. They're not recommended that stop thinking about Krishna. There, one keeps thinking about Krishna. But because Krishna is spiritual, because Krishna is the supreme reservoir of happiness, he brings that absolute thing for that sadness. And then he brings that happiness in a devotee. A devotee will feel helpless. Then Krishna will come and help. Such things don't happen in material world. Very few people come to our help. If a devotee feels stressed, like this whole Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was feeling stressed, helpless. He was actually crying also. Then Krishna came personally and spoke. In the material world, such things don't happen, right? Very rarely such things happen. Arjuna was feeling downward feeling, but after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he felt so happy. He had loss of faith. Again, he developed faith. So the point I'm trying to mention is, if anything is connected with Krishna, it gets rectified. And the result is always positive. Now, it's a matter of experience also. So as we grow in our bhakti, in our spiritual life, we will come to this stage where there will be crying, there will be some helplessness, hopelessness and all that. But it won't take us downward. It will take us upward. Okay, now we spent a lot of time. But yeah, so this is the nature of the absolute world. That there, happiness and sadness is same. Happiness is also happiness, sadness is also happiness only. But here, sadness is real sadness. It is crying and, it's taking us down actually. So that's the nature of this material world. So Krishna will tell how to detach from this material world and then go to the spiritual world. Okay. So let's get into the chapter. Any questions before we start? Any questions?
No, Prabhuji, no questions.
Okay. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree and it has its roots upwards. Roots are going upwards and branches are going down and leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So when we know that such a tree exists, okay, we know the Vedas. Now I talked certain things from the purport only. Okay. Branches are like considered as fruitive activities, where one jumps from one branch to another, tries to taste the fruits of the Vedas, go into various other planets, heavenly planets or hellish planets or any other planet or on this earth, tries to experience all the things, right? So all that the tree is trying to provide. Okay. So Krishna concluded that devotional service is the best way. So the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to transcendental service of the Lord. So we need to get detached from material activities, and then only we can get attached to transcendental service of the Lord. So that's the purpose of this chapter. Okay, we talked about the spiritual world and material world. Material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. Everything is there in the spiritual world. All kinds of relationships are there in the spiritual world. In the material world, it is a reflection. So it is not real things in material world. There is duality here. Okay. The impersonalists take Brahman to be the root of this material tree, and from the root, according to Sankhya philosophy, comes Prakriti, Purusha, three gunas, then five gross elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, and then 10 senses, Dashendriya, mind, etc. In this way, they divide up to the whole material world into 24 elements. If Brahman is the center of all manifestation, then the world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. The material world is perverted reflection, so spiritual world must have the same variegatedness, but in reality. So this whole paragraph that we read, right, it is nothing but this description of the material and spiritual world in the tree. So 180 degrees from below, 180 degrees above is the spiritual world, and this is the material world. And if we see so much variety in the material world, then the spiritual world also may have that variety, right? If in the reflection, if we see certain color, red, blue, then we know in reality such a color exists. When it is said that a person knows the weather, it is assumed that he knows how to cut the attachment. Okay, interesting point. If somebody is trained in Vedas, he knows how to cut this attachment and achieve liberation. If one knows the process, there are various processes. He actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted to the ritualistic forms of the Vedas is attracted to the beautiful green leaves of the tree. So in the Vedas, there are many things that are said. Do this particular yagya, do this particular puja, you will get this, you will get that. These are nothing but the leaves. Such people don't know the exact purpose of the Vedas. It is like they are in the jail, but they are too much interested in the shop that is there in the jail. That shop provides, soap, daily necessities, sometimes some snack and all that. So a person is very much interested in all this shopping only. So they are not very intelligent. One who knows we need to get out of the jail, that is the perfect guy. Like I always show this picture. Oh, come not there. Sorry. This one. So this criminal is inside the jail, but it's too much hot. So what he does? he breaks the wall, make a hole in it. And then instead of escaping from that, he has installed an air conditioner and is still sleeping happily in the jail. So this in the Vedas, such flowery words are there which will keep us in this world. You will go to heavenly planets, you will go to this planet, that planet, you can enjoy, you can have life of like 10,000 years, 100,000 years, 2,000, 200,000 years. It feels very nice, right? Oh wow, very nice. Hmm? So one will lose focus of liberation, moksha, if one is attracted to the leaves. He does not know the exact purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas is disclosed by the personality of Godhead himself. That is to cut down this reflectory tree and attain the real tree of spiritual world. The branches of this tree extend downwards and are nourished by the three modes of material nature. Okay, the branches are the three modes of material nature, basically. And we saw it, goodness, passion, ignorance, various kinds of things happen in them. The twigs are the object of senses. The twigs. That's what the persons go and eat. Ah, this is nice, that is nice. The tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of the human society. So these are roots that were going up also, and there are roots going down also. I'm not reading this because it's because we are discussing that. The real form of the tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins. So it's an imaginary tree. It's an analogy that is given. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. So first thing is we need weapon of detachment. The weapon of mass destruction, right? Nuclear bombs and all that. Here, which weapon Krishna is talking about? Detachment. I won't take part only. Like that. Then that determination cuts down this strongly rooted tree. The quality of being detached. A person who is detached. Who is detached? Is a person in goodness detached, passion detached, or ignorance detached? Who is detached? Among the three, who is detached?
Ideally, people in goodness, but Prabhu, people in ignorance also, I've noticed that they're also quite detached. They're into themselves.
Okay. Before I answer that question, it is not okay. Out of the three, who was detached? These three brothers, right? We should always come back to three brothers. Who was detached? Who are these three brothers? Let's start with that. Who are these three brothers on the screen? These are three
Ravan,
brothers, right?
Kumbhakarna and Vibhishan.
Yeah. So who was detached?
Division.
Of course, Vibhishan was detached. But Kumbhakaran gave his life for whom?
Ravana.
So he was also detached. That is your question, right? Mode of ignorance people, they are detached,
Yes,
they are in
Prabhu. Yes,
themselves.
Prabhu.
Then it's a detachment in ignorance. So what is the result of ignorance? What is the result of ignorance? The result of goodness is good. Result of passion is misery. Result of ignorance is madness. So Kumbhakarna's detachment to his own life was out of madness. It was not sane. So in people in mode of ignorance, they'll show detachment, they'll show a lot of things they'll show, but it will be influenced by all these qualities: delusion, insanity, lamentation, illusion, sleep, false hope. To think what is wrong to be right is in mode of ignorance. Here Kumbhakaran thought that to fight on behalf of Ravana is the right thing. Vibhishan thought, no, it is not the right thing. So just like I give this example. If a police sees a crime happening, if a policeman comes in a place and he sees that there's a crime happening, the only thing is who is doing the crime is his brother. What the policeman should do? You tell me what the policeman should do in this situation. He sees his brother doing the crime, either he's stealing or doing something illegal. What the policeman should do? What do you think the policeman should do? Tell
He
me.
will arrest his brother.
Yeah, he has to arrest, no? If he shows attachment to that brother and says, "Oh, he's my brother, I won't arrest him," that is Kumbhakarna mentality. Okay? Does that answer your question? So detachment is also in mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness. What we are
Vijay,
talking.
Vijay, I had a question. On similar lines, can we say that the attachment that Karna had for Duryodhan is also
Yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah,
mode
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
ignorance?
That is true. That is in mode of ignorance only. See, sattva means you are dharmic. Okay, your side of the dharma, your side of truth, morality, ethics, even much more than that. That everything encompasses as dharma. Okay, dharma doesn't mean religion. Okay, dharma means it's the order, the right order in every situation. What is the right order to be done? If it is morning, we have to get up. That is dharma, right? The trees, everything, it's falling like that, right? The birds and all that, they follow this dharma. So we also have to follow this dharma. Okay. Very good.
Prabhuji, I have a question. It is if something happens with our father or mother, if they told us something which is not right, so that point of view, should we do whatever they said, or should we just know that no, this is not right, we should not do that, like we follow that thought? Because sometimes in Shastras also say that following the like uh, father and mothers, it is also a dharma, right? So I
Good
just
question.
wondering, no, no, sometimes shastras say, na, we should follow or we should obey the father and mother also. Like in case if they something said and that is wrong, so should we follow that also, or like we can deny because that is not
Okay,
correct?
good. See, that is the whole purpose of Mahabharata and Ramayana, is to help us understand what to do in this situation. As a younger brother, one has to listen to the elder brother, because elder brother is like father only. One brother listened, one brother didn't listen. Of the two, who is always glorified? Vibhishan, right? So, if it is not in line with dharma, and such a statement comes from elders, elder brother, father, mother, whatever, then one should not follow. One should open up Ramayana and tell them about the story of Vibhishan. Now, very interesting point. There's a story that everyone knows, Bali Maharaj. Let's see. So, Bali Maharaj, he was grandson of Prahlad. Grandson of Prahlad. And he was doing this yagya and capturing all the devatas and all that. He was doing this yagya, and then he had decided to donate to anything that anyone asks. At that point, Vishnu comes as a small boy, Vamana, and he tells, I just want 3 steps of land. Bali Maharaj Guru is Shukracharya. And Shukracharya is telling Bali Maharaj, you don't give him anything. Because I'll tell you, he is Vishnu himself. He will take away everything. Then Bali Maharaj says, see, my grandfather was a great devotee of Krishna, was Vishnu. And he told me that we should give everything to Vishnu. Now, if Vishnu has himself come in front of me and is asking for 3 steps of land, I will give. So, he didn't listen to his guru. What to speak of father, mother, he didn't listen to his guru. Guru Abhagya. So, if the guru is not in line with the Shastras, then one should not follow the guru. This is the import of the story. Does that help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Good.
Prabhu, can you repeat your last sentence, please? If Guru is
If
not
guru
in.
is not in line with the Shastras, he says something that the Shastras don't say, or he says the opposite of what the Shastra is saying, then one should not follow such a guru. One can reject the guru. This is the import of this story. Bali Maharaj rejected Shukracharya. Now, this is a very big offense, okay? There are many, many offenses. This is one of the biggest offense, to not listen to a guru. Such a big offense that when he was tied and Vaman Dev sat on the throne of Bali Maharaj, and Bali Maharaj was tied, and then Vaman Dev freed him. Before freeing him, sorry, there's a very nice question that Krishna himself asked, meaning Vamandev asks to Shukracharya. Because what has happened is Shukracharya's order is not followed. Okay? Shukracharya's order is not followed. So, Shastra say if you don't follow the Guru, if you reject him, nothing can save you. So, Krishna also knows this, meaning Vamandev also knows this. Okay? Vamandev also knows this. So now Vamandev is asking Shukracharya, did Bali Maharaj did right or did he wrong? Okay. Hopefully I should get that verse. Charity. Okay. So Vamandev asked this question to Shukracharya, that did he do right or did he do wrong? Now what is Shukracharya's answer? Can you tell me? What do you think he must have told? Can you tell me? Any guess what Shukracharya told? Now Shukracharya also knows this, okay? You cannot disobey the Guru. What will Shukracharya say now? Can you tell me? What is your guess? What did Shukracharya say?
No idea, Prabhuji.
Tell anything, whatever comes to your mind.
That maybe Bali Maharaj had a greater sense of perception of having, uh, of serving, uh, based on his, based on the history of him being Prahlad Maharaj's grandson. That Serving Krishna is much uh, mm, bigger or more important than serving Guru Prabhuji?
Okay, so here is the thing. He says, "Oh, best of the Brahmanas." Vaman is asking Shukracharya, please describe the fault or the discrepancy in your disciple Bali Maharaj. What is the fault in your disciple Bali? Shukracharya, tell. Who engaged in performing sacrifices? This fault will be nullified if when judged in the presence of qualified Brahmanas. This is the answer of Shukracharya. My lord, you are the enjoyer, the lawgiver in all performances of sacrifice. So he knew who is Vishnu. You are Yajna Purusha. All this yajna is done for you only. The persons to whom all sacrifice is offered. If one has fully satisfied you, where is the chance of discrepancy or fault in his performances of sacrifice? Bali Maharaj fully satisfied Vamandev. He said, if he has fully satisfied you, there is no fault only. There may be discrepancies in pronouncing mantras and observing regulatory principles. Moreover, there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, circumstances. But when the Lord's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. Your holy name was chanted. I must nonetheless act in obedience to your order, because obeying your order is most auspicious and the very first duty of everyone. Now, this is Shukracharya saying, I must follow Vishnu, your order. And who followed Vishnu's order? Bali Maharaj himself followed Vishnu's order. Give me 3 steps of land. And who was saying, no, no, don't give? Shukracharya was saying. And who gave? Bali Maharaj gave. And at the end, Shukracharya is saying, your order everyone should follow. It is the first duty of everyone, including me. In this way, Shukracharya accepted the order of spiritual Vishnu in full respect. And therefore, Bali Maharaj didn't do Guru Avagya. Externally, he did Guru Avagya. But in essence, he didn't do. Does that answer your question? Okay. Okay. So we went into a lot of other directions. Weapon of detachment. Okay. Therefore, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrenders to that supreme personality of Godhead from whom everything began and from everything has extended since time immemorial. So, which is the place from where we go, we never return? That is the spiritual world. Okay. 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 Now, can someone read this section, the word asanga? Someone read, please.
I can, Prabhuji. The word asanga is very important in this connection because the attachment for sense enjoyment and lording it over the material nature is very strong. Therefore, one must learn detachment by discussion of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures, and one must hear from persons who are actually in knowledge. As a result of such discussion in the association of devotees, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the first thing one must do is surrender to Him. The description of that place whence, having gone, one never returns to this false reflected tree is given here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the original root from whom everything has emanated. To gain the favor of that personality of Godhead, one has only to surrender. And this is a result of performing devotional service by hearing, chanting, etc. He is the cause of the extension of the material world. This has Prabhayaha. I am the origin of everything. Oh, sorry, Prabhuji, I missed out something. This has already been explained by the Lord Himself. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. I am the origin of everything. Therefore, to get out of the entanglement of this strong banyan tree of material life, one must surrender to Krishna. As soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically from this material extension.
Okay. So if I have to ask you, tell me a story which follows this paragraph exactly. Can you give me a story? Story of a devotee which follows this exactly. Whatever we read, exactly such thing happened. First thing one
Dhruv
must do is
Maharaj?
surrender. Huh? What?
Dhruv Maharaj, Prabhuji?
Yes, Dhruv Maharaj is there.
Dhruv
Dhruva?
Maharaj?
Huh? Dhruv Maharaj, right? You said Dhruva. Yes,
Yes,
Dhruva.
yes,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
Dhruva is right. Anything other? Just now we discussed one story.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj, yes, Prahlad Maharaj is also there. Just now we discussed another story. No? Do you see the Bali Maharaj?
Bali Maharaj, yes.
First thing we must do is surrender to him. This was Bali Maharaj first understanding. Grandfather has taught me first surrender to Vishnu. And Vishnu himself came. So he surrendered. And Krishna said, everything belongs to me, okay? 3 steps he took the whole world only. 2 steps actually. Third step he said, where to keep? Then Bali Maharaj said, keep it on my head. Atma Nivedan. As soon as one is surrendered onto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically from this material extension. And Bali Maharaj became detached, completely detached, when he became surrendered. Okay? Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are free from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who unbewildered know how to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, attain to the eternal kingdom. So these are the qualities required to surrender. First, we should be free from false prestige. This is mine and this is me and I am big guy. Be free from that. How does we become free from such things like me and mine, being puffed up and all that? How do we free ourselves? Can you tell me some examples? Can you give me some argument? Can you tell me?
Prabhuji,
Hmm.
about, okay, I don't know if my answer is correct.
So you just
I
say.
feel one way of freeing ourselves is
Hmm.
devotee association,
Okay.
others reading scriptures,
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
understand every time how important it is to understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead.
Okay. Anything else anyone wants to add? How to free from this false prestige? Everything is mine. I am this so great.
Just one more thing, if I may add, Prabhuji,
Yeah, yeah.
also to remember that Dukhalayam Ashashvatam,
Okay. Yes.
the
Dukhalaya.
temporariness of everything,
Hmm.
and that this is the material world is only full of misery.
Okay. So now I'll tell you one very nice. Hmm. So we'll just focus on this picture. What is on the right topmost? Persons are very much attached to their achievements, material credits, and all that. At a time of death, everything is taken away, right? Next life, you have to take birth again. If we just explain this progression, one can become free from the false prestige. One should understand that this world is like a rented place. We are just renting it. For how many? 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, whatever. After that, we have to leave. All great empires fell. All rich people died. Did they take their money with them? No, their money is lying here only. Where did they go? Such understanding makes person thinks, yeah, I may be a great man today, but at the time of that, all this thing ends. Isn't it? This is without touching any Shastra or nothing. Without even being religious. You can explain this. This is the reality. Everyone will have to go through this reality. You, me, non-devotee, whoever. Isn't it?
This is true, Prabhuji.
A company may give us a rented car. You land to this city, take a rented car for 7 days, and your accommodation is in this hotel. Everything is paid. The rented car is also paid. Go and meet all our 10, 15, 20 customers over there. And this person goes there, he goes around, round, and meets all the customers. But he becomes attached to the car. Why? The car is Mercedes car. He becomes attached. No, this is my car. Then what will happen? If he doesn't give back the car back to the rental company, what will happen? What will happen? If he becomes attached to the hotel room and he says, I'm not checking out, he locks the door inside, what will happen?
They'll just come and evict him from the place.
They'll just evict him. They'll break the door, put him in, and throw him away. That is death. That's why death is so painful. But let's say he becomes detached. He says, okay, my business is done. Here, take the keys back. Here, take the car back. I'm going. If he becomes detached, he becomes free from false prestige. Okay. So somebody who may not be religious and all that, we can still explain him the reality of this world. See, the great part of the Bhagavad Gita is it is so uh, non-sectarian, right? It has nothing to do with any religion or ritual or something. The philosophy is crystal clear. It is like the sun. Okay, it is like the sun. There is no magic in these words. Are we fooling people by telling these examples? Tell me, are we fooling people?
No,
If I give this
Prabhuji.
example, no way we are fooling. This is the reality. And that reality is true for you and me. The only thing is, I have accepted this reality, understood this reality, and accepted this reality. But you have not understood and you have not accepted. So I am giving you this explanation. Once I give you this explanation, then you accept it. And by doing that, right, a person may be devotee, may not be devotee, but he will become free from false prestige. That's why we see sometimes some people, they may not be devotees, they may be atheist also, but they understand this principle, and then they'll be very detached. So devotee needs to understand this thing, okay, the reality of this world, and then this prestige that one has, I am this, I have this, I have this much, you understand, no, everything is rental here. That he comes out of that illusion. He false association. You were talking about devotee association. Yes, one who takes devotee association, he can also understand that. He understands the eternal. I won't die. That is another point. I won't die. I will just keep changing bodies. Who are done with material lust. The material lust is duality. It is sometimes happiness, sometimes distress. There are so-called love marriages, right? And for the sake of love marriages, this boy and girl, they will run away. They'll marry. In worst case, they may kill somebody. They may kill their own father, mother, right? And let's say they marry. After marriage, reality sets in. 1 year goes away. Is their loving relationship the same as they were in college? Tell me. If that was the case, then all the actor, actresses, marriages and all that, they should be the most happiest marriages in the world. But what happens? They go through reality. If one is only focused on lust, what is there in it for me? How much I am enjoying? How much I am becoming happy? If that is the focus, then gone. Such marriages don't last. So lust means to focus our own enjoyment. But when one understands that if we just focus on our own enjoyment and we are not giving to others, in giving there is more happiness than in enjoying, right? Then he can come out of this lust. Who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress. Freed from the dualities of happiness and distress means they've understood that happiness in this world is also sad, is also distressed only. Should not be carried away with it. Little bit of happiness, fine, take it. Don't get carried away. Distress is there in this world. Who unbewildered know how to surrender onto the supreme person, attain to that eternal kingdom. Such a person is unbewildered and they go back to God. Okay. Okay. Can someone read this section?
Can I, Prabhuji?
Go
I'll
ahead.
read, Prabhu.
Yeah.
You go ahead, Mataji. It's okay.
Oh. The surrendering process is described here very nicely. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride, because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the lord of material nature. It is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know by the cultivation of real knowledge that he is not Lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord. When one is free from delusion caused by pride, he can begin the process of surrender. For one who is always expecting some honor in this material world, it is not possible to surrender to the Supreme Person. Pride is due to illusion, for although one comes here, stays for a brief time, and then goes away, he has the foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world. He thus makes all things complicated and he is always in trouble. The whole world moves under this impression. People are considering the land, this earth, to belong to human society, and they have divided the land under the false impression that they are the proprietors. One has to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world. When one is freed from such a false notion, he becomes free from all the false associations caused by familial, social, and national affections. These faulty associations bind one to this material world. After this stage, one has to develop spiritual knowledge. One has to cultivate knowledge of what is actually his own and what is actually not his own. And when one has an understanding of things as they are, he becomes free from all dual conceptions such as happiness and distress, pleasure and pain. He becomes full in knowledge, then it is possible for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So this is something that we already discussed, that we are not the proprietors here. We are only taking care of for it for some time, and then afterwards we have to leave. Such a things make us free from all false association. Then we develop spiritual knowledge through Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and other scriptures like Ramayana, Bhagavad also. And then we become free from dual conception of meaning. See, I was always talking about dual concept. There is happiness, there is distress, there is pleasure, there is pain. We won't get carried away in all the things, whether it is happiness or distress. We won't get carried away. We will remain equanimous, samatva. And in such a knowledge, surrendering to Krishna becomes very easy. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here. Any questions? Any questions or comments?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. 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 So we'll stop.